Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Yeah, so you've booked for back-to-back sessions, I think. So two sessions,
Yes, yes,
right? Okay. So did I give you any particular task in the last session? Oh, I too have that book. Man's Search for Meaning.
right.
Yes. So the Nazi camp, concentration camp experience.
Yes,
Yeah, I've done a book review on that book. Okay, did you finish reading that book or you have just started?
I have finished it.
You
I,
finished.
I mean, on 7th of May.
Okay, did you come across logotherapy? Logotherapy written by the
Yeah,
author.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, fine. Anyway, so first to begin with, we are going to focus on sentence formation, tone, yes,
Right, right.
pronunciation. Those are the
Yeah,
places that we need to focus for you, right?
right.
And in between, I'll ask you some questions also.
Okay.
Okay. So before I begin, tell me something about what you understood from the book or something that you observed about the book.
So the biggest takeaways from the book is no matter in which situation you are, you should always look positively towards the life and look for a meaning where you can find why this life is important to you and what do you want to do out of this life.
Yes, exactly. So this book is not full of sentiments and emotions. It's more of practical side,
Right,
where the protagonist, the main person, did not know whether he's going to live next day. He
right.
could see friends being burned in the gas chambers. He could hear the sound, but still
Yeah,
he learned to survive and find meaning, as you said. Yes?
right.
Okay. You can choose one chapter and start reading aloud. Choose any chapter and
So from the first chapter,
from the first part or any chapter, whatever you're
yeah.
comfortable with.
Okay, then I'll choose the first one.
Okay.
Um, so this book does not claim to be an account of facts and events, but of personal experiences. Experiences which millions of prisoners have suffered time and again. It is the inside story of a concentration camp told by one of its survivors. This tale is not concerned with the great horrors which have already been described often enough, though less often believed, but with the multitude of small torments. In other words, it will try to answer this question:
Okay.
how was
Okay.
everyday
So
life
let's stop there.
concentration
You
camp?
can just mark. Okay, just mark where you stopped, and
Okay,
let me ask
right.
you. Okay. So if I ask you a common question, a general question, what is the purpose of this life? What will be your answer?
Then, uh, so it will depend upon person to person, and mainly it depends of like living a life where you keep on progressing and
Okay.
making good lifestyle and all that.
Okay. So it depends upon it
Person
varies
to,
from person to person.
yeah,
You're saying
the-
person to person. Either you say
right,
it depends on the individual. It varies from person to person.
right, varies.
Okay, fine. So can you continue reading? Just continue reading.
So, how was everyday life in a concentration camp reflected in the mind of the average prisoner? Most of the events described here did not take place in the large and famous camps, but in the small ones where most of the real extermination took place. This story is not about the suffering and death of great heroes and martyrs, nor is it about the prominent Kappa prisoners who acted as trustees, having special privileges or well-known prisoners. Thus, it is not so much concerned with the sufferings of the mighty, but with the sacrifices, the crucifixion, and the deaths of the great army of unknown and unrecorded victims.
Okay, unrecorded victims. Okay, so the pronunciation of concentration. It's not concentration. It's
Yeah,
concentration. Okay,
concentration.
concentration camp. So a beautiful line which says it's not about the emotional part and the suffering. It's more about sacrifice, It's about the unrecorded deaths and
Yeah.
the martyrdom of many people from different walks of life.
Right.
Yes? Okay, it's like a tribute to them. I'm going to show you something, Raj. Like, I'll just show you a kind of small card. Try to connect that with this book because you finished the book. You can connect it in
Right.
any way. Okay, so here I have this hole, and you can see some colors around it.
Right.
Just observe this and try to connect it in some way with the story or with that particular book. Any part of the book is fine.
So it's like the book life should be colorful, no
Okay.
matter how much difficult it is for you. You should always feel positive, and you should look for the positiveness around you
Okay. What
for
about that
some or
hole?
the other reason. Yes.
Okay.
And sorry, what did you say?
There is a hole in the center, there is a
Yeah.
void, and then the colors. So can you connect that void with anything?
Yes, of course. Like there might be void in your life, but you will have to come out of that. You will have to look for a meaning uh, for whatever you want to do, and you shall focus on that instead of focusing on other negativity around you.
Okay. So the pronunciation of instead, it's instead. Okay. It's not instead,
Inst-
instead. Yes, correct.
Instead.
Okay. Okay. So can you continue reading?
So it was these common prisoners who bore no distinguishing marks on their sleeve, whom the Kappas really despised.
Okay, go on. Go on.
While
Just go on.
while these ordinary prisoners had little or nothing to eat, the Kappas
Mhm.
were never hungry. In fact,
Okay, once
many
again.
of the Kappas,
The what was never hungry? The
Kapos, Capos,
capus. Okay,
uh,
fine. Go on.
Kappas, the, the Kappas fared better in the camp than they had in their entire life. Often they were harder on the prisoners than were the guards, and beat them more cruelly than the SS men did. These Kappas, of course, were chosen only from those prisoners whose characters promised to make them suitable for such procedures, and if they did not comply with what was expected of them, they were immediately demoted. They soon became much like the SS men and the camp wardens, and may be judged on a similar psychological basis.
Okay, let's stop there. So it's suitable. Okay, it's not suitable. It's suitable. The
Suitable.
pronunciation of suitable. Then you need to focus on the r sounds. Better, prisoner, occurs, war,
Wow.
priority,
Right.
important. Such kind of r sounds. Suffering. So
Suffering.
whenever you read a word, the r sound is not articulated properly. It's not coming out properly, and because of
Oh,
that, the pronunciation is lagging behind. Okay, so
okay.
you can make sentences or you can read aloud. Try to make sentences and see if the r sound is fine with you. Okay, that is what I
Okay.
feel.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's fine. You are able to articulate other words properly. No much issue. Okay. So,
Yes.
your first, okay, your topic for this particular session is festival. Okay.
Right.
Now,
But
yeah.
before moving, I would like to ask, like when I was reading, was it clear to understand where the what punctuation is there, and am I able to pause according to that?
Okay. So let me tell you, I'm not looking at the tone now. I'm looking at the pronunciation and the articulation. Now, when
Okay.
you're reading, it's easy for me to understand. It was easy for me to understand because I'm using a headset. Okay.
Right.
But if you ask about the intonation, you need to really work on the intonation. It comes with practice. You
Right.
need to pause in certain places. Your pace is fine, your speed is fine. But the main problem is what I told you. Whenever there is a r sound, it is not coming out. It's not articulated properly. Pronunciation is okay. You can improve, but it's fairly good, not a major issue where
Okay.
people cannot understand. It's not like that. We can understand. But when it comes to some words like better, you say bitter, and that r sound is falling short. It is getting, it's going away in the wind. It's not very clear. Then prisoner occurs. Such kind of words I was able to make out because I used the headset and I was listening to the whole sentence also.
Right.
Right? So it comes with practice. I have given you the sound pattern. That is the r sound. That is where you need to focus. Okay,
Yes.
now
Yes.
I'm going to ask you something and let's see how you answer. Festivals, okay? I'm going to show you a card, a kind of book cover. Try to give
Right.
me as many points as possible connecting it with festivals. Don't focus only on one festival. The theme is festivals. So look at
Right.
this card and connect it with festivals.
So the first thing that comes in my mind is Holi,
Okay?
the festival of colors, of course, and we can uh, connect it with other festivals also, because almost all the festivals brings colors in our life, no
Okay.
matter which festival we are celebrating. But festivals are meant to be celebrated in a way that connects our life with colorfulness, of course, and we enjoy a lot in family gatherings, which we generally do not in recent days. I mean,
On a
the
regular basis. On a regular
yeah,
basis, we
on
don't
regular
have
basis.
to have so much of color. Okay.
Right.
Apart from that, color, you spoke about color. Any other aspect when it comes to festivals? What are the other features of festivals? And you can connect it with
So
what I showed you right now. There are a lot of
uh,
phases, smiling
uh,
phases.
yes, a smiling person. So sorry,
What about happiness?
what? Sorry.
Happiness.
Yeah, happiness. Of
It
course,
brings
the
happiness.
festival brings happiness. Of course.
Okay. And you cannot stay dull during a festival. Even if there's a lot of problem going on at the back of your head, you suddenly get
Right.
energetic
Right.
because
Right.
people visit, people come to your place, you go to other place. It's like for the time being, you keep away all the worries and you try to be happy. You try to be joyful.
Yes.
You
And
share the joy. Yeah.
that I can connect with myself as well. Like I generally do not like to enjoy festivals. I mean,
Okay.
and the main reason for that is whether in Bihar generally Chhat is celebrated at a very, uh, I mean, uh, I forgot the word. I mean, it is celebrated like uh, life size, if I can say.
Okay. So it is celebrated with so much of pomp, so much of
Uh,
like,
yes, yes,
with luxury, too much of luxury in a luxurious
yeah.
way. Okay.
Or if we can say that it is the most celebrated festival of Bihar.
Okay.
So uh, it is celebrated in that way, but I do not, I am unable to connect with that. And the
Okay.
first reason that comes to is that people generally use uh, so many loudspeakers are placed here and there, and they used to play from 5 5 a.m. morning to 9 or 10 p.m.
Okay.
And
Which
that
causes a lot of
is
noise pollution.
irritating, so much irritating.
Okay.
So, like you said, no matter what you feel, you have to show some happiness or joy with others.
Yeah.
So you cannot uh, play dull in front of others, because
Yeah.
it comes once in a year and you have to celebrate that.
Okay. Fine. Got it. Got it. So that's fine. So you have given all the points. And there were no grammatical errors, not many grammatical errors. Our pronunciation, I will not say that there's a major issue, but we need to work on the tone, because sometimes it's not about the pausing. There is no expression for certain words. It
Right,
sounds a bit monotonous when you speak. You don't have to be dramatic when you speak, but you need to have that intonation. You need to stress in certain places to catch
right,
attention. In
right,
certain
right,
places, you will have to rise and fall. You know, so those are some of the techniques you need to use to catch the attention and to sound a bit more affirmative, to be more authoritative sometimes. Sometimes you need to be soft. It depends on what you're saying and to whom you're saying. So
right, right.
tone is very important.
So,
Intonation,
yeah, this is the feedback I'm getting from almost all the tutors. Like, I have to work on
intonation.
intonations, and of course,
Okay.
like when I'm saying it sounds, I'm speaking just sentence after sentence, no expression,
Yes.
no
We'll do
emotion
an
at all.
exercise for that in the next session. Yes. Because there's
Yes,
another session coming up immediately after
yes,
this.
yes,
So
yes.
let's